Today, we're gonna be grading on a rubric that I made very professionally my freshman year at USC. We're gonna be roasting it, toasting it, doing some commentary on it because there are some things I have to say about my freshman year and I just wanna document them. Disclaimer, this is supposed to be lighthearted and a joke, and if you're USC, I love you guys. Love you guys so much. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So in the past 30 minutes, I created a rubric. It's called Brett's Professional Rubric for USC. And I have a grading scale from 1, unacceptable, to 5, love that. Love that. There's not much more you can say, you just love it. The 4 main categories are 1, money, aka cost of attendance, aka tuition, aka my fucking textbooks. 2, curriculum. 3, professores. Y'all find out as I go through my class list that I did take Spanish. Up to Spanish twice. And the last one is extracurriculars, and that one is bulky because there are so many extracurriculars that happen and so many story times involved with that because I tried joining a club and I got rejected from the club. There's a lot to go over, but those are the 4 categories. So let's start with the first category, which is money. In a capitalist society, we all need money to survive, and allegedly, college costs a shit ton of money. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Now for the grading scale. A 5 is equal to Cafe Latte's BOGO sale. I have a local boba shop at home, and when they have a BOGO sale, a buy one get one free, it's everything. It's everything and a half. And so that would be the full score. Next we have I got my money's worth. Simple as that. 3 is the equivalent to the friend that asks you for money but then never pays you back. Michael, I'm talking to you. Jokes. 2, the tuition cost is equivalent to the phone call scammers that I get every single day. I get these random ass phone calls, y'all. I'm sure you get them too. Hello, your credit card, da 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 da. Trying to scam you for your money. And so is that USC? We'll find out. And the very last one is they performed a robbery, allegedly. They didn't, don't sue me. So real talk now, I was actually accepted to USC on a scholarship. So personally, I didn't have to pay as much money as some of the other people. And so in that case, it was pretty worth it for me to go to USC rather than a public school. The only other option I had that I got off the waitlist for was UCSB, and so that would be a lot cheaper than USC's full tuition price, but with the scholarship and everything, it kind of evened out, so it was pretty good, I guess. And along with the scholarship, because it was the COVID year and the pandemic, they gave $4,000 per semester to students who stayed home, and so that helped me save a little moolah there as well. However, this is where it gets a bit gross. USC actually raised their tuition by 3.5% during the pandemic, which is ridiculous if you ask me. Even if they're adjusting for inflation or something like that, 3.5% is significant. It's very much classist, very much Olivia Jade parents vibes. And so that's borderline unforgivable in my opinion. To raise your tuition price during a literal global pandemic, it's just crazy to me how that happened. It, to me, sends a huge message to the whole Trojan community, to parents, prospective students, that you are essentially cutting out our lower class. Even though you're providing financial aid and scholarships or whatever, that's awesome, that's amazing. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship myself, and that helped me be able to attend USC. But those prices and whatnot are just a band-aid on the larger problem, which is just capitalism and how expensive tuition is. It's getting ridiculous, and we're gonna start seeing in the next 10 years colleges being over 100K, and it's a scary thought. Not only that, but textbooks are expensive as fuck. And even though my textbooks and reading sources were online, I still had to pay for them. They're online. But the textbook situation isn't really unique to USC, it's mostly just everyone, so still bad. Overall, I would rate USC a 2 for money. Do better. Very much the phone call scammers I was referring to earlier. 2, you get a 2 out of 5. That's a what? 40%. So fail, essentially. Now we're gonna move on to I'm waving this like a 1. Now we're gonna move on to curriculum, really fun. Full score, learned so much, my mind feels powerful, right? Feels powerful. 4, definitely a class. It's whatever, standard, I guess, proficient. 3, learned more than my stats class senior year. Now, I learned nothing, retained nothing for my stats class senior year, and I'm very petty about that because I was robbed of an A. I was robbed of an A in that class. T. So I'm just salty. Even though statistics was pretty fun, I'm just salty. So you're basic. 2, learned nothing, mind equals mush. self-explanatory. And 1 POV, I ran my head into a clear window like a fucking bird. This did happen to me when I was in elementary school. I was running outside to a trampoline with my friends. I was the first one to run. The door, clear as day, freshly wiped. And I ran into it. And I cried. So that made my brain hurt, and so this is what the curriculum would be equivalent to if it was like that. So the classes I took first semester was Spanish 150, that's just the basic Spanish 2 class, and 140 Mesoamerican Cosmovision and Culture, GESM 111 Seminar in the Arts, and Com 200 Communication and Social Sciences. For second semester, I took Rit 150, which is a critique on the education system. The Irony, Span 220, which was Spanish 3, GL 150, Climate Change, and Com 206, Communication and Culture. The content of these classes were super fun and I felt that they were super relevant. I loved my climate change class, that was really interesting, very much a Greta Thunberg vibe. I am a comm major, so my communications classes were really fun and interesting for me. I was kind of worried because I never took a comm class before, so I thought I'd hate it and I had to switch my major, but they were super interesting. Social justice, critiquing capitalism, society, etc. Very fun, very interesting, thought-provoking, felt powerful. That's a little foreshadowing for you. Español 2 y 3. They were fun, I guess. I wish I was actually fluent in Spanish, but I will never get there. I just could not do anything. For Rit 150 and critiquing the education system, that was my favorite class, I think, because I was able to write about legacy admissions, why we should remove it, and racial inequities within the education system. It was very much like a free prompt, kind of like you can do whatever you want each time. And so I chose to talk about those topics, and it was fun to research and just learn more about things I was actually passionate about and write about them. I also really enjoyed my Anthropology 140 class, which was Mesoamerican Cosmovision and Culture. That class was so much fun, and it was really cool because I was actually able to write my final paper on the gender roles of the Mayans and how it was a lot more fluid than they are now. Like, the Mayans had kings and queens that would almost cross-dress to get power from the other sex or gender because of their like thematic teachings about duality and how that was super important, and so the ruler had to play like almost both parts to embody that power from like the gods. I don't even know, like I can share the paper. I got 100% on it for some reason, even though there was like a grammatical error in it. Keep in mind also, you should never get 100% on your final papers. I don't know what happened there. He wrote me an email being like, oh, great paper, blah, blah, blah. But like, in my mind, you should never get 100% on any paper you write because no paper should get 100%. But I'm so grateful. As you can see now, I have no idea what I wrote about. I just tried to explain it and I just couldn't, so moving on. Now for the score, 5. 5s across the board. Okay, learned so much, my mind feels so powerful. Period. It was great. Loved it. The curriculum, fantastic. And now we're gonna talk about my professors who taught that curriculum, aka the next category. Now let's read through the grading scale. 5. Loved my professors, 10 out of 10. Would comb their pet. A lot of my professors had animals and they were animal lovers, so I was like, would I take care of your pet or would I not? Because if I didn't like you, I would not take care of your pet. 4. Honeycrisp Apple. They were sweet, they were kind. It was great. Very great. 3. They were okay, I guess. Boring. 2. Would rather teach myself. I would rather have a self-taught class where I just take it for a grade than have you teach it because you made it confusing. So that's a 2, aka do better. And the very last one, they gaslighted me. It's like, I know the concepts, I read the textbook, but you're telling me that I don't know the concepts and you're telling me a whole different theory. You're gaslighting me. And not in the fun girl boss way. That's a 1. Unacceptable. Now lucky for me, I loved all my professors. All my professors were so sweet and kind. They were the best. They were the best. I love my communications professors. They were so sweet and amazing. And my Anth 140 professor was also very passionate about his topic. He really cared. And so was my climate change teacher. It's funny because in high school, I almost got a vibe that some teachers didn't want to be teaching their subject and they were like bored of themselves. But in college, like, you can definitely tell that your professors really care about the topics they're teaching about. And that like passion definitely rubbed off on me and I got excited about the topics. So yeah, that was great. Was it a 10 out of 10 though? This might be an upset for y'all. I would say a Honeycrisp Apple. A Honeycrisp Apple with almond butter because I'm allergic to nuts. I know, it's embarrassing. So sweet, so kind. Not outstanding because some of my professors were a bit like boring, aburrido. And so in that case, I would just like dock off a couple points. So I give them 4. Now the very last category. Extracurricular shit. This one is gonna be long and this one's gonna be complicated. A lot of mixed emotions, okay? So the rubric for extracurriculars. 5 So amazing, met so many people, hashtag live, laugh, love. 4, not laser tag fun, but swiping on your friend's Tinder fun. Self-explanatory. 3, extracurricular experiences equivalent to when I dug a hole at the beach and someone fell into it, so I was like removed from the beach. I still don't know if that actually happened or if I dreamt it, but I definitely dug holes at beaches that kids fell into. And so digging the hole was the fun part. The kid falling into it was not the fun part, but they cancel each other out, so I would just say it's a 3. That one did not make sense. 2, equivalent to when I started a spider club in 2nd grade where we found black widows and then shut down half the elementary school because we found black widows. I tell that story a lot. Like, if you know me in real life, I tell that story all the fucking time. So I'm not gonna tell it again here. But if you want a story time on that, let me know. Just ask in the comments. And the last one, no. So let's start with first semester's extracurricular activities. I went onto the USC Annenberg internship/job website. It's like a search engine where USC communicates with these companies and the students are able to apply for those jobs. Basically, it's like Indeed, but like USC affiliated. I took up an unpaid internship that was like video editing and social media managing/marketing. And that was fun for a bit, I guess. It was a lot of social conscious media, so we talked a lot about immigration, racism, how the pandemic affects people with autoimmune diseases, etc. Like, it was just covering those stories and then broadcasting them on like Instagram. And so that was somewhat rewarding for me. The only like actual critiques I have, and like I've talked to the people there about it too, so I'm not like shading anyone, absolutely not. I would never shade anyone. I had a great experience there. It was a bit disorganized. Like, there wasn't much structure within the nonprofit, but that's totally because they just started when I joined. So I totally understand that, but it was kind of difficult to navigate at first. But after a couple months, I kind of got into the swing of things and it was fun, it was fresh. And my internship was only supposed to last 15 weeks. And even though I had like the opportunity to extend that time, I just chose not to. I just decided that I wanted to move on a bit and explore some other things because I'm like a freshman and I don't really know exactly what I want to do yet. And so I tried out for a club on USC's campus, and they're a business related club. They're known for having like a low acceptance rate. I don't really know what this elitism is, not specifically this club is elitist, but in general, the culture of getting into a club on college campuses, like to get into a club is harder than getting into the actual school. Like, some clubs have less than a 5% acceptance rate, and that's ridiculous. Like, for what? For what? So I think you guys know where this is going. I didn't get in. I basically ended my interview by saying that humans are like gushers because if you were to compress them, goo would splur out everywhere. And so I didn't get it, understandably. I learned a lot from that interview. You know, essentially, don't compare human blood and guts to the inside of gushers. I thought it was fucking funny. I thought they would laugh and they were just sitting there, shocked. Funny enough though, after I got rejected from that club, I got another internship offer at a thing called Bubble House, which is like a new social media app for creatives to like post about their artwork, photography, and etc. And so I'm doing their social media management right now for them. Because it's basically like a startup, like there was only 6 people in the company when I joined. Like, I was really involved in the conversations that would later shape the apps. Like, I really have a say and a voice in like the company, which I think is super cool. And during this whole time, while I was transitioning from each internship, I also applied to art school at USC and ended up getting in. Period. If you want to see my art portfolio, it'll just be up here. But I was cramming the shit out of my art portfolio. Ugh. So that was really stressful and a lot to deal with. But throughout my application process, I was able to talk with my advisors and the USC Roski, which is the art school head of admissions person, to see what his thoughts were on me applying. And my art teacher first semester gave me a letter of recommendation for that. And so that was super sweet of her. And after I got in, actually, I was assigned another advisor for art. I almost started crying to her. I was like, yeah, I have really bad imposter syndrome and I don't think I deserved it. And then she was like, stop, don't say that, you deserve it. And so she was super nice to me too, for no reason. It's kind of her job, but she was above and beyond nice. So with all that being said, extracurricular wise, very much I dug a hole at the beach and someone fell into it. So in total, USC gets a C. You get a 2.0. How does it feel? I'm joking. Please give me all A's next semester. I really need it. you passed, I guess I'll stay. Whatever, I just won't transfer out. But yes, that was me grading my freshman year at USC. My experiences there, the pros and cons, grading on my own custom scale that is very professional. Graphic design is my passion. And if you like this video, y'all like the video. If you have a fun comment to share, any college experiences you want to tell me, any questions you have, comment them down below. And I say this all the time, but we are a super small, tight-knit community, and so I always respond to all of your guys' comments. And if you like me, my art, I want to see my journey as an art student in LA, you can subscribe, possibly. It's a fun time here. And I think that's the end of the video, y'all. That's the end of the video.